Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to knit the Vikkel braid or lateral braid. I specifically wanted to highlight the technique I use to join the braid in the round. I was so excited when I learned how to do this that I had to come on here and share it with you guys. So all you need is a crochet hook to help you make a beautiful and seamless join. So grab your hooks and we will get started. Okay. So I just want to note that the entire round prior I knit, as you can see, I have a 1x1 brim. If you try to work a Vikkel braid on purls, it will make your braid appear bumpy and wavy. So just make sure when you're starting your braid, you have a whole round of knits before you get going. I also wanted to mention that the Vikkel braid is a looser braid. So you're going to want to go down a needle size or two before you begin knitting your braid. That way it will be nice and tight and not too loose. So if you're knitting with 5mm needles, you might want to go down to a 4 or 4.5 for your Vikkel braid. So to begin our Vikkel braid, we are going to draw up a loop in between the first and second stitch. So place our needle between the first and second stitch, pull up a loop, and then place that loop onto our left-hand needle. So now we have an extra stitch and we are able to begin our Vikkel braid. So we are going to, using our right hand needle, go in through the back loop of the second stitch on our left hand needle. So we're going to knit through the back loop of our second stitch, and then without dropping our stitches off, we're going to bring the right hand needle to the front and knit through the front loop of the first stitch. And now we can slide the stitches off. And in order to continue knitting, we need to place the stitch back onto our left hand needle, and then we repeat the process. We're going to knit through the back loop of the second stitch and then the front loop of the first stitch. So go in through the back loop of that second stitch on your left hand needle, knit, and then pivot our right hand needle around to the front and go through the front loop of the first stitch and knit. And it might look a little funny at first, but we're going to keep going. Slip that stitch back onto our left hand needle, knit through the back loop of the second stitch, and then through the front loop of the first stitch on our left hand needle. And then slide off. And we're just going to continue that process. So place the stitch back onto the left hand needle, knit through the back loop of the second stitch, then knit through the front loop of the first stitch. And that's it. You're just going to continue repeating until you make it all the way back to your stitch marker. And then I'm going to show you the really cool trick on how to create a seamless join for your Vikkel braid. Okay, so once you have reached your stitch marker, you can go ahead and actually remove it. And you should have this little vertical leg running up and down here. And then right next to it, there should be the first lateral V-shaped stitch right here. So it's like a little sideways V, and that's actually the stitch that we're going to be joining into. So we're going to skip over that first stitch with the vertical leg. We're going to take our crochet hook and inserting it from the top to bottom, we are going to pick up the little legs of that V-shaped stitch. Okay, and then we are going to come over here to our right hand needle and slip that first stitch onto our crochet hook. And then we are going to carefully pull that stitch up underneath those two little legs of the V-stitch, like so. And then we are going to place that stitch onto our left hand needle, just like that. And now we are going to knit the first stitch that we just placed onto our left hand needle. We're going to knit that through the front loop. And there you have it, you guys. Look at that beautiful join. It is such an easy technique, and it creates just this seamless, beautiful join without having to do a whole lot. So I hope that you really enjoy this tutorial. It is such a great way to join in the round. But before we end, there's something that I need to mention. So remember at the beginning of our vickle braid, we cast on an additional stitch, right? So I want to make sure that I point out that you guys are going to have to get rid of that additional stitch before you continue on in your pattern, or else you're going to have one extra stitch. So I like to do this by knitting the first two stitches together through the back loop. Just like that. Knitting through the back loop, I feel, helps to kind of hide that little bump that you can get when you knit two stitches together. So that's my favorite way to do it. And now you should have the same number of stitches that you started with. So now you are free to go on, continue your pattern. I hope you guys enjoy this technique. As always, be well, keep it cozy, and I will see you in the next one.